about to witness a seismic event. Now, let the party begin.
Your healthy radio addiction starts now.
Hollywood's Motorcycle Madhouse on iHeartRadio.
And welcome to the show today, guys. It's Wednesday. It's hump day. Hopefully you got your hump day in. Hopefully you were out there with a nice blonde honey or a brunette if that's what you prefer. We're going to be talking about the update to the Mongols Motorcycle Club patch case that's happening right now. It's been argued in front of the jury for phase 2, which is the penalty phase. As you know, the first phase was if the Mongols were responsible for committing crimes, all that blah, blah, blah stuff, and the jury convicted them on RICO. And it's nice to see everybody in the chat room. What's up? Startup scared the hell out of me. Bio, rock and roll, man. But here's what we're going to be talking today. We got a special guest coming on today, and it's going to be a good show. But here's what we're going to be talking about.
Federal prosecution against the Mongol Biker Club. A muscled Genghis Khan-like figure, part of a set of patches seen all over their promotional videos. Members say it is a display of their bond with other members. The patches designed by Vietnam vets, worn proudly since 1969. A jury recently convicted the organization on racketeering and conspiracy charges. Now that same jury must decide if there is a link between the patches and the racketeering acts. If so, the Mongols must give up what is called their collective membership marks, their patches. The forfeiture, a penalty for outlaw activity. The Mongols did not speak to the media today while the case was in trial, but days ago they did, and described to Eyewitness News the significance of the patches.
This is a lifestyle, a culture, and a way of life. This is what we represent.
The Mongols say the criminal conviction sprang from acts committed a decade ago under the leadership of a president that the Mongols kicked out themselves. In closing arguments, the Mongols' lead attorney says, "If it wasn't sad, it would be funny. These things have nothing to do with alleged racketeering." Prosecutors called an ATF undercover agent, Darren Kozlowski, aka Dirty Dan, who infiltrated the organization and testified how members were allowed to buy patches or had them awarded according to what they carried out for the club. The defense asked if any of the trademarked items were used in a series of violent acts. Answer: not to my knowledge. Showing video clips, the prosecutor tells the jury that the marks serve as a unifying symbol for an organization that deals drugs, intimidates, engages in violence, even committing murder. The Mongols say those acts were committed by bad apples, not the entire membership. It's a case like none other undertaken by the U.S. government. If the jury finds for the prosecution, a separate proceeding will follow. Would forfeiture of the logo violate the Mongols' First Amendment rights?
And there you go. That is what we're going to be talking about today. The jury has it right now. The arguments were closed. But first, I want to say hi to everybody over on Facebook, over on YouNow, and all the other platforms that we are broadcasting on besides YouTube. But we got a really special guest that's going to be coming on, and we're going to be talking about all this stuff and how it affects other motorcycle clubs, why the government's doing it. We'll talk a little bit about the First Amendment and stuff like that. But if you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead, hit that subscribe button over here on YouTube, or hit us, like us on Facebook and stuff like that. That helps us with the show. That YouTube live chat, which you or that super chat that you see over there with that jar. If you want to do a super chat, you can. It helps out the show and helps us get better equipment. So let us go to our special guest. Let me get him on the phone real quick. Many of you will know him and actually be really happy. So let's get him on the phone. What's up, John? How you doing, buddy? What's up, Ironhead? Carlos, how you doing?
Hello?
Hey, what's up, BD? You're on air, buddy. How you doing?
Oh, I'm good.
Hey, you feeling better after that flu, man?
Yeah, I still got a little bit of the flu.
Well, we got a
How do you
full.
hear me?
Oh, we hear you pretty good, man. Just turn it up a little bit more. You're good then.
Here, let me see. Let me see if I get this microphone powered up.
So what do you guys think, man? We got Black Dragon on here. Everybody's cool with it, man. You got it up more?
Is that better?
Oh, a lot better, man. A lot better. So we're going into the Mongols case, man, and I know you've been covering it as well. What do you think about the closing arguments in the second phase of the trial?
Oh my goodness. I think that I think these guys are going to have hell. I think they're going to have hell. Hollywood. This is that time where everything that we have been afraid of, everything we've been terrified of. This is that time where it all comes to pass. All the chickens come to roost now.
Right. Now, why you say something like that? And we'll actually go into, because I want to equate what they're trying to do and actually read the First Amendment. It's iffy if it protects them or it don't. If you read it at face value, so I'd like to get your viewpoint on that. But I'll let you finish about why you think it's time to come home to roost here.
Well, so what happens now is it's easy to pick someone that nobody that's hard for them to defend themselves, and it's easy to pick someone that it's easy for everyone to hate. I see this as a bigger ploy against motorcycle clubs and other kinds of what they would call fringe groups, because this is a test case. And I think that people all across the country, and I've been covering this for a while, and I've been getting picked upon, beat up, torn apart by folks that will follow my channel, and they decide that they want to attack me. A lot of these guys are sensationalists. They like to create sensational headlines to make their own channels big. And one of the things they say, and you hear this all the time, well, if you ain't selling dope, you don't have anything to worry about.
Oh, that's their number one thing, ain't it?
and to me, that's the biggest damn farce. Because it is true that many of the things that the Mongols are facing, they have brought on themselves. But you have to wonder, could you not get anything new or recent to go after them about? I mean, you're going after them about cases that are long since settled. People have long pleaded out or went to prison or are serving prison terms. And your whole thing is to shut down an organization that you don't like because the people have been punished. The folks that have done the wrong that they have done, they've been punished.
Well, you know what? You're completely right on that, because out of all the RICO counts that they were found guilty of, that was during that rat's time, Doc Cavaros, and the charges that they were found innocent of was after him.
Right. And so, what is it saying? What is the message that's being given to motorcycle clubs? What's the message that we're seeing? And the message, I believe, is, well, maybe if you're not selling dope, you don't have anything to worry about today. But what do you have to worry about tomorrow? and the day after. And, tell that to that guy that they pulled over in Texas, and they told him, well, listen here, we need to take a look at your tattoos. And he's, I'm on my way to school. I don't want to show you my tattoos. Well, you're going to show us your tattoos or you're going to go to jail. What do you tell that guy? He's not selling dope. He's just riding his motorcycle to go to class.
Yeah, to go to school. And then another person that I know of that's been in this situation, he goes down to renew his concealed weapons permit, and lo and behold, they tell him he can't renew his permit because of these tattoos he has on him, and the tattoos are gang tattoos. So because he's part of a criminal enterprise with these gang tattoos, he can't get a firearm he could legally get. So, well, wait a minute, that doesn't seem. So there's a whole lot of stuff that's going on with this that is widening the powers that are used against American citizens. And then we come to that ugly stuff that people get mad at me when I talk about, what's really going on. Is this that new world order stuff? Is this that UN coming in? What's up with all this? Because there's a lot going on here. A lot of rights are being taken summarily, and for what reasons? Well, you know what? You're exactly right, BD. And, a lot of people go out there and think you're conspiracy theorists and all that kind of stuff, but I believe 100% in it. Because if you look at what's going on today, now you can either be a supporter or not a supporter of the president, but if you put that aside and look at what the propaganda coming out of the media is and how blatant it is, you can see what they're doing. There's a power struggle going on between, the lower and middle class against the rich people and those that have power. Now, another thing you bring up as far as MCs are concerned is you know what? I don't know the exact quote, but it brings me to a saying that what used to be said with Nazi Germany when a guy said, well, it was about the Jews, so I didn't open my mouth. The next, it was
same for me. There was no one left to open their mouth.
Exactly. So, if you think it's just the Mongols now, you're mistaken, because they're just not going to stop there.
If you think it's okay to let it just be the Mongols now, if you think it's okay to say it's their fight and it's not my fight, sure. There are some things that they've done wrong. And I am not, by anyone's measure, a proponent for murder or any of that kind of stuff. But if they charge Hollywood for murder and they send Hollywood to jail, do we now have to shut down Insane Throttle? What about the other people that are working over there and getting a paycheck and supporting their families? They've all got to shut that down because Hollywood has done some things that we don't like. Now we're shut. We want all the tattoos, the T-shirts. We're taking all the cups back. I mean, geez, this to me at the core is un-American.
Well, exactly.
This is not how we've done business before. This is not how we have. When we took Al Capone down, we didn't go. We took Al Capone down, and the people that Al Capone was doing his dirt with. We didn't go shut down the whole city. I mean, I don't know.
Well, you know what's funny, BD. Especially some of the, I call them a bunch of freaking Looney Tunes. Some of these guys, especially ones that never been in clubs or had anything to do with the freaking streets, or, they claim to be from somewhere where they're not. Chicago, let me put that in there. But anyway, it's funny how they can run off at the mouth and support be anti-government one time, 1 minute, then be poll suckers on the blue gang the next minute. You know how Madhouse is. We're going to call it like it is and how we see it. But how what the hell's happening within the biker community?
The biker community is undergoing a change. Now, follow me here for a minute. As my old preacher could say, walk with me for a minute to the corner. And if you take this trip to the corner with me, we've got to go a little bit wider than down the block. This Hollywood is happening internationally. This is happening across the entire world. Motorcycle clubs are organized groups of individuals who have seniority, they have rank, they have structure, they have discipline. Many are veterans or come from neighborhoods where things are tough. These guys have respect for each other, love, loyalty, and brotherhood. They work together as a unit, as a team. They're little damn militias capable of defending themselves. And that's not good for any government anywhere in any country.
Right. Well, you know what? You're exactly right, because I was reading an article right now, actually before the show started, out in Oz. And for those who don't know what Oz is, that's Australia. And their anti-consortium laws are just getting nuts. Now they're telling the public, well, if you go in these gang zones, which means, they go by bikies over there, but biker clubs over there, hey, we're going to nail you next.
So consortium laws are they're very insidious. And we really saw those laws in America start to come up in the 90s. And you really saw them really hit the Crips and the Bloods first. And they were laws that basically said if you were on parole, if you wanted to stay on parole and not go back to jail, you could not have an affiliation with any known gang member. So that now has transferred in Australia to their bikies. They don't call them bikers, they call them bikies there. So if a bikie goes, and they just had a court case not too long ago there, where there were 7 bikies originally who they followed to some restaurant. These guys had a beer together or something. And having that beer together almost put those guys in prison for 20, 30 years. That's the consortium law. You can't consort with those people. You can't talk with a known biker gang member. So kind of in America, it started with the Crips and the Bloods and has it's kind of spread out. And they passed these laws back and forth between the countries. They've for instance, in Australia, they started using a lot of our RICO laws and asset forfeiture laws. Civil asset forfeiture laws actually came from Great Britain. How Great Britain used to go after pirates in the Caribbean and illegal ships and pirate ships. They would just take the ship because they couldn't get the owners. Right. So they decided to take the law out against the ships, the cargo and the ships.
Right. So, well, you know what? For those that don't know what RICO is, BD, not to interrupt you, RICO was initially done in the 70s to get the mob and we call it the outfit here in Chicago. And for them to be charged with RICO, usually somebody goes to damn jail. In this case, nobody went to jail.
And the funny thing about RICO is RICO did not pass the Supreme Court in this country by this overwhelming majority. It was a 5-4 on the Supreme Court. Even the Supreme Court said, this is a bunch of BS. You're taking all of the rules that we've all gone by, and now all of a sudden you're saying that these guys are so bad that we can't go by the rules anymore. We have to to break the rules of law that we've normally gone by to get them. You know, so it was a 5-4 vote in the Supreme Court, and it was kind of like the laws they passed after 9/11, the Patriot Act.
Yeah, the Patriot Act,
where they promised us this is really only going to be used for the mob. We got to get those mobsters, those guys running numbers and stuff in Chicago, those guys in Las Vegas. We got to get those guys. And now, 50 years later, 40 years later, here we are using those laws against another group of guys. Well, we gotta use the RICO laws, and then what we have to do here is not only we're gonna use the RICO laws, but we're going to adjust them. We're going to put an adjustment on them such that we're not even going to go after individuals. We're going to put together a RICO/civil asset forfeiture law. We're going to find that your organization is a criminal enterprise, and then as such, we're going to remove all of the assets of your organization to close it down.
Well, on that point, and you know what, it's funny you brought that up with this RICO crap. In the closing argument, Welk, who is the district attorney, said, quote, "It's the only way to stop the endless cycle of crime that organizations like this perpetrate." Now, do you honestly think that the government is that stupid to know that, oh, they're going to take the Mongols patch and there goes the club?
Well, if that's what they think, they really don't know. They really don't know motorcycle clubs like they say they do, because motorcycle clubs we're not brothers because of a patch. Just like we're not Americans because of a flag. That is the most crazy thing you ever heard. Of course the flag is important. We like the flag. The flag represents something. But they can take that flag. We're still going to be Americans. We're still going to fight you, and we're still going to chew your eyeballs out. The flag is a symbol of what we represent. It's not what we represent. It's a symbol of what we believe in. It's not what we believe in. It's a symbol of it.
Right.
They'll get another symbol. And so what comes next? The property of man's minds? The next step, if you remember that movie, The Minority Report, where the police came and they got you and even killed you the second before you committed the crime.
Yeah, that's that one with Tom Cruise, right?
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
So what's the next step? Is the next step the chaining and the imprisoning of the mind? Because if we take your symbols and that doesn't shut you down, and you come up with another symbol, what's the next step? Now we've removed the symbol, and we remove your ability to ever come up with another symbol to represent who you are ever again. As a matter of fact, next we're going to remove you even deciding that you want to be who you are based on how we, the government, define that. Well, that's some scary, man. That's a good movie, man. We need to make that. We need to write that.
Right. Well, you know what? You are a veteran, and now I'm going to read this to you, and I want to get your, because you're a veteran, you served this country, you put your time in. Now, this is the First Amendment as it's written. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof or abridging the freedom of speech or of the press, or of the right of people peaceably to assemble and to petition the government for redress or grievances. Now, how I don't understand, because I know on the appellate side of the things, because the judge in this case originally ruled that it was unconstitutional, but, the Ninth Circus Court, as I call them, kicked it back and said it was too early for that argument. What do you think, as a veteran, with that amendment that you fought for, what they're pulling right now?
Well, I think for the Mongols, sake. I think for them, this will be the last bastion of salvation, or the last pillar of safety, the last pylon before they're drug out to sea, that someone will be able to throw a lifeline around that could possibly, and I think will, save their colors. Because in order to do that, and I think everybody recognized that this is an assault on the First Amendment, and it removes from them many things: freedom of speech, freedom of assembly, freedom of to establish their pursuit of happiness and freedom of privacy. I think there's so many things here that we think of as American basic principles that I think that the Supreme Court's going to have to come down and say, nice try, good end around, nice strategy. Maybe what you did was you bankrupted them out of business, and maybe that's what you're going for. Because to do this to the Mongols means that you could really do this to any group you don't like. And it who knows in the future what being a criminal enterprise will even be. For instance, in the future, the Boy Scouts who may not want to accept gay Boy Scouts, or may not want to accept female Boy Scouts, maybe that becomes criminal. And now they're a criminal enterprise. And so they can say, you know what, you're not doing what we want to be rid of the Boy Scouts. I know that's going out on the fringe, but I'm just saying.
No, you're completely right, because today the judge in the case, Carter, said the case is one of first impression, and I'm reading this quote, and could reach the U.S. Supreme Court, which we know it's probably going to go to with all the appeals either on both sides, due to the tension between forfeiture and trademark issues. Further, he said the prosecutors may appeal from a forfeiture judgment that goes against them, unlike in most criminal cases. So with that quote right there, I don't think the judge is really inclined, and I don't think he's going to, support, even if the jury comes back, because, they got to prove that the patch was involved in any criminal activity. And as, earlier I played a news segment from ABC where they had that ATF rat up there, and he was asked the question by the defense, did you see any logos, around when any crimes were being committed? And he said no.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. And all these pieces are part and parcel to, and I just really think it's so, and this is why people really kind of hate attorneys, because sometimes they will go with the things they know are wrong, inherently wrong, because they know they can get that through court. And it's supposed to be wrong for them to even prosecute things that are against the Constitution and against law. And just taking the time, the 10 years to press this through, what everyone has to know is against the First Amendment. Just to press that through, to spend that money, to spend our tax dollars to make a point against people you already put in prison, I think is terrible. I just wonder what the end game will be. What do they feel they will have accomplished? Because certainly they don't believe that they're going to stop the Mongols from mongoling on.
Right. Well, you know what? It seems like this Welky's just looking for the spotlight. It's kind of what they did to Sonny in the late 1970s when that was the first RICO case brought against the Motorcycle Club. And, of course, 81 beat them in the late 70s. But now, what are they trying to do? Are they trying to, because it had to cost the government by now millions and millions of dollars over the last decade to bring this case, which, again, you're right, we got to pay for. But what are they trying to do? Break them that way?
Well, I think so. I think that I think they're trying to break them financially. I think they're trying to break their spirit. I think they're trying to break them morally, and I think they're trying to take away their club. And I think they've said that, and they also want their money. They want the profits. They want to destroy this club. They want to put this club away, and then they'll take that playbook and they'll go after the other 1%ers, probably them first. In every town, in every city, in every place where they feel like they have a bone to pick, they're going to go after those folks. And then there'll be my guys, the 99%ers. And the reason I say that is we're not liked. There's no great love for us.
Well, even in trial, you're right. I think the biker lifestyle in general's on trial here, because some of the stuff that came out of that DA's mouth or that assistant DA was a joke.
Well, they don't like our lifestyle. They don't even. I mean, even our women. You have property on a woman's back. They don't even understand what the hell that means. So now you've got to deal with their non-understanding of your culture and your lifestyle, and they walk in telling the jury something that's not even true. I read this article yesterday, and it was absolutely amazing. It was an article that said 9 things to know about a motorcycle club that they will tell you. And as I read that thing, I just about threw up all over the place. The stuff that they said in this thing, it's just terrible. And I'd love to read you some of that stuff. It would just blow your mind. You just start laughing. But they take this to trial. People believe this stuff.
Right. Well, you know what? I can't believe they even got past the first step. What worries me a little bit is, hopefully the attorneys on the case are good. Personally, I wish they had some $500 an hour attorneys on this. But, they got to get aggressive as pit bulls on this. And the rest of the biker community, or, more specifically, the MC community should get in there and start helping out, if you ask me, because it affects everybody.
Now, here's a part that we have to touch, and this is the part where motorcycle clubs are going to have to realize. Today is the day of social media. Today is the day where everybody's got a $1,000 cell phone with a better microprocessor than what was used to land ships on the moon and on Mars. Everybody is a movie star. Everybody's a producer. Everybody's a documentary filmmaker. When your motorcycle club is out in the public showing its ass, you are the prime star. You are the poster child for how we are going to be shut down as a culture.
You know what? You're dead on with that one. You're dead on.
The day of the barroom brawl is over. There used to be a day where 2 cowboys and their crews could come off the range, off of the Goodnight Loving Trail, get off in Dodge City, go into town, shoot it up, leave a couple people dead in the streets, rape a couple women, come back out, boys will be boys. That's gone. Dodge City got rid of that 100, 200 years ago. When you get to town, you're taking off your gun. You ain't putting your hands on nobody. You're not slapping around the girls in the saloon. That's done. There was a day where bike clubs could walk into the saloon, have a big old fist fight, tear up the whole bar, hand the bartender a couple $1,000. Hey, it's over. It's forgotten. We fought with knives and chains and everything. It's all over. Now, you could say something like, I'll shoot up this whole bar. And there is a 45-year sentence attached to that. It's called committing a criminal offense in
terroristic threats.
Terroristic threat in aid of a criminal organization. So the terroristic threat was good for 10 years. Aiding a criminal organization is 15 thrown on top of that. Well, wait a minute. All I did was told a guy, I'll kill you. I was mad at him. Used to be able to tell a guy, I'll kill you. Used to be able to get on an airplane and say, is there a bomb on here? Ha, 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 ha. That'll send you to prison. We're hitting a politically correct world, and the public acting out and beating somebody up in the bar, a couple guys circling a guy, knocking his nose out. Those days are gone.
Well, yeah, those days are long freaking gone now, man. And you're spot on with that. The way am I saying clubs are freaking Boy Scouts? No, I'm not ever saying that. Me being an independent now, I know how the streets are and stuff like that. And that brings me to the next point I really wanted to discuss with you, because you have been getting a lot of haters and stuff. As you know, I really don't give a shit if they come at me. But with you, it's like a target. They target you. And a lot of the stuff I read from them is like, coming from the era that I did in the 90s and stuff like that, I can't put it together in my head because, people are so damn different these days. Because I think you actually provide a valuable service to the motorcycle community. Come on, you used to be a national president of the damn Black Sabbath Motorcycle Club, a storied motorcycle club, big, the whole 9 yards, national and stuff. So, I know people that actually send their prospects to watch your channel, but when it comes to, these independents that could never get into a club per se, or couldn't make it in the club, it's funny how they can talk to smack. You know what I mean?
So what I've learned is when I started this channel, to be honest with you, it was really for the Black Sabbath. I had no idea that it was going to take off and be an internationally recognized channel, and I would have people all over the world. And I really didn't know how motorcycle clubs operated across the world. I didn't know that they all were so close and so so structured across the same kinds of protocols. But there's something that's interesting about motorcycle content channels. First of all, ours, yours, mine, Dibber and the Wind, a few other kind of guys like that, they are the first of their kind. It's cutting edge. It's new. A lot of people were prepared for this kind of thing. Old guys like us, a lot of them don't even really use the internet well. They're really just now getting into Facebook, that kind of stuff. So the other thing is, when you have a top-rated channel, yours, you kill the podcast world, you kill the Viper News world. When you have a top-rated channel, these people that are hungry are going to come running. And these people, and it's really funny, some of these people have never been in motorcycle clubs or have never been in them successfully. They've been in club after club after club after club. But because they're well-spoken people and they have charisma, they can make money on these YouTube channels. And that's what I mean. They're hungry and they want to get paid. And one of the greatest ways to get paid is to create controversy. And when you create controversy, you're going to have to go after the guy sitting at the top. I'm just talking about how clubs need to move forward, how they can get along, and how we create longevity among us, because motorcycle clubs are under attack. And they're trying to take away our very lives and our existence. These guys are trying to make a paycheck, and they're trying to create content about something they were only prospects in. not national presidents, not presidents. They have no leadership chops or skills. So they pick and they start fights and controversy, and it's very funny. People love that stuff.
And that's pretty sad. You know what I mean? Because it used to be in the biker community, we didn't deal with drama. Now it's like freaking, social media is worse than damn high school, man. But it's high school for adults, I call it, social media.
And I feel bad because to some extent I started dabbling in it a little bit. It feels good to put out a video that hurt somebody that hurt you. So somebody put a video out that hurt you, and then it's funny because people will feed you information.
Oh, they feed you all the time, don't they?
They know the worst things about these people. Like they know how these people got divorces and what their outcomes were with their children. I mean, where do people get this stuff?
It's like they got no life. Yeah, they'll send it to you. So because like you said, you got the biggest one as far as MC Protocol. But you're up there almost 30,000 subscribers now on your YouTube channel, and you got that nailed up. And the people that reach on HarleyLiberty.com with the Biker News and Motorcycle Madhouse's podcast is unreal, and it's just amazing what they feed you.
The number of people that you reach, and then the number of people that these guys have spit upon, because the only way these guys survive is to find person after person after person to attack. So they have people out there that hate them, and they feed you this information. So I fell into it a little bit. I took some stuff I saw, and I fed it back. And what I found was that I wasn't pleased. I felt like my message wasn't getting out. I'm toiling and fighting with nobodies, with people who the only way they can make news is to have Black Dragon's name in their mouth. And some of these guys call me by my first name like they know me, like, oh, John, blah, 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 and John, blah, blah, blah. And it's just like, dude, go ahead. So I took it from this one guy. This one guy has this big, he's got 994,000 subscribers. And he said it best. And I heard it a few days ago, and I loved it. You can make whatever video you want to make about me on your channel. That's your channel over there. Mm-hmm. Over here on my channel, we're going to keep doing our thing. And I have too many bikers across the world that belong to motorcycle clubs or want to be in motorcycle clubs that are 99%ers like me, that are proud to do what we do, and they want to know, Black Dragon, how do we do it best? How do we do it without falling into conflict with the other side? How do we do it without getting our head busted open or having to square off with someone? Is there a way we can just do this and enjoy ourselves and not have to look over our shoulders? And hell yes, there is.
Now, well, you know what? To answer Steven's question, because he just put, cool, you guys are on the internet. What about the Mongols? The reason why I asked you that, and I'm swinging it back to the Mongols, is you probably got a lot of comments on your channel. I got tens, I got a lot of them on my channel over on Harley Liberty and stuff like that, where you got these type of people, these independents and stuff like that, if you could even call them that, motorcycle enthusiasts, whatever, will come back and say, well, that's the Mongols' problem. They went around telling us we couldn't wear this patch, or we couldn't do this, or we couldn't do that. It's just showing how uneducated these type of people that we get are. That's where it has to do with the Mongols, Stephen.
So, here's the thing. These guys seem to have a lack of, and that's why I just wonder, are a lot of these social media guys just a bunch of high school guys that never got out of the house, and maybe these are just pimply-faced kids in the corner. They act like Like, when has America ever been free? Oh, that's against blah, blah, blah. Like, there was the mafia in certain neighborhoods, and you did things like you were supposed to do it, or you got your head cracked open. In other neighborhoods, there were the Crips and Bloods. In other neighborhoods, there were the Scotsmen. In other neighborhoods, there were Native Americans that ran. There's always been, if you're trying to get your stuff on the docks and you're not following by those rules, you're not going to get your stuff off of a ship. I mean, this is all over the world, and it's in America too. There are protocols that it's the street, Hollywood. What can I say? It's the street. And if you've ever come up in the street, you know, there are certain kind of rules. Like, you don't snitch in the street. There's rules. And you follow those rules if you want to get along peaceably.
Well, just like Warpath said, he's like, yeah, you know, or these guys who say it's a free country, I can wear what I want. And usually what my response to them people is, go ahead, put it on, do what you do, man. But you got to go out there and back it, man. We warned you.
And if you can back it, you can be 100% you.
Exactly, you know, and like you said, it is the fucking streets. So, you know, those that are going out there saying with the Mongols and stuff like that, why we should support them and stuff like, I don't think they understand the lifestyle at all, because there is different subcultures I talk about this all the time. You know, there's independents, there's freaking just enthusiasts, there are the MC clubs. Once you get in one of them subcultures, you go by the protocol and the rules.
So when it comes to when someone says, well, Black Dragon, why would you support those guys? And like, by me supporting what I believe is a overreaching government action towards them, that means that I support everything on earth that they do. It's absolutely not the truth. But I also have the experience of being in an MC for 31 years at this point. And that experience has shown me what has happened to my own MC that is not considered a outlaw organization or criminal organization or 1% organization. And I have seen the police crack down on us and do all kinds of things on us. I've seen them make up things on us. I've seen them make up lies on us. I've seen them run us out of neighborhoods just because they didn't want us. So it's like, dude, I kind of know what government overreach is. I've had it happen to me and my club. So it's not necessarily the Mongol side I'm on. I'm on the side of my motorcycle club, because I can see what's going to happen after they get done with those guys over there. Right. You know, everything's about self-preservation, and I'm for the preservation of my guys and my brothers and my club. And sometimes, you know, the enemy of my, how does that thing go? The enemy of my
enemy is your friend.
Is my friend. Yeah. Something like that.
Right. Well, you know what? That's one thing I don't think me and you will ever be able to do, or Dibs will be able to do, is explain it to these wahoos why this exists, because they'll come back, well, we're bikers. It's supposed to be about freedom. They just don't get it. Once you get into one subculture, it's the way the shit is. And,
well,
you know,
but they do get it, Hollywood, because they said it. And they said, I'm a biker. And you damn sure are. I am a biker second. I'm a club brother first.
Hey, oh, that's a great way to put it.
You're not a freaking club brother. I'm a club brother. So for me, that's first. You know, this one guy just did a video, another content creator. His video is, why is riding a motorcycle important? And this whole thing about this, and he always talks about motorcycle clubs. He's not in a motorcycle club. He always talks about motorcycle clubs. And he always wants to talk about what's important to motorcycle clubs. And every time I hear him talk about what he believes is important to a motorcycle club, it all comes from a standpoint of I, me. I'm riding my iron on two wheels, doing my thing. I'm not worried about anything. I'm doing great. Me. Sounds like a record, a broken record. In the MC, we don't think about I, me, mine. In the MC, we think about hours. We think about hours. We. And so that's why these independent bikers shouldn't make you upset. And that's why I stopped worrying about them. I realized that that's exactly what you are, an independent biker. And as such, ride on, baby. Ride right past us. Because we are a unit. We are a team. We are a brotherhood. We are together as one forever until we die.
Rock on, man. You know what it is I think they're jealous because they never experienced that. And I think that's one of the reasons why, on any content, whether it be the Mongols, 81, AOA, or any of that stuff, motorcycle clubs is the number one topic out in the biker community.
Well, that's because the motorcycle clubs are the top of the food chain. I'm still trying to kick this. Flu down. I'm sorry about that.
No problem.
Motorcycle clubs are the top of the food chain, and so you know, when we get out of the politics and we get out of the legal stuff, what is more impressive in the world, Hollywood, than a motorcycle club of brothers roaring past at 90 miles an hour, side by side in perfect formation, front tire to back tire 6 inches apart?
Ride and deuce, baby. That was the best feeling in the world. Ride and deuce. Not staggered, ride and deuce side by side, passing a joint or a beer back and forth. A lot of them guys will never be able to experience that. But before I let you go, man, you got a new podcast up and a lot of new stuff going on, man. Let everybody know what's going on.
Well, thank you for giving me the opportunity. And I want to tell you, thank you to you so much because people don't know that you put it down like you say it. And my whole podcasting world has come to fruition because you basically took your time out to teach me how to podcast, to teach me all the programs, to show me all the setups. And I'm thankful for that. And I want everyone to know that you did that for me, and I'm so thankful. But I have the Dragon's Lair Motorcycle Chaos. I don't know the name of my own show. The Dragon's Lair Motorcycle Chaos. And that's on all these platforms, Spreaker, Stitcher, iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio, all those places you can get this podcast. And it's my first podcast ever in my life. I've got 5 episodes up now. And I have new content that comes out on Monday and Friday. And I'll be having the interviews like this with people all over the country, with 1%ers, with 99%ers, with founders, with club presidents. We're going to be talking about MC protocol, brotherhood, biker news, all those sorts of things. And so it's going to be amazing. And also, my content will be available on your show, the Motorcycle Madhouse, on Saturdays. I'll have a special podcast for you on Saturdays, just getting my name out so folks can kind of know who we are and kind of know what I'm talking about. And
yeah, you're actually going to be running right after the Madhouse on the Madhouse Radio.
And then, of course, my YouTube channel, Black Dragon Biker TV. So it's the #1 MC protocol channel in the country right now, and we just keep building it.
Rock and roll. So everybody get over to BD's channel and give him a like and a subscribe. I believe you're on Facebook too, but he will be up on iHeartRadio soon. If you got them 5 episodes, I know you'll be up there soon. So iHeartRadio, Spotify, everywhere on the radio, and I really love the podcast and stuff. That's more my niche than the video stuff is. Like I always tell you when we talk, YouTube's just my fun thing, but you know, I can actually interact with people on YouTube where it's harder for me on the radio and you know, on the bigger platforms we're on. But we look forward to this Saturday. Your first one's going to be running piggyback to us.
Oh, that's going to be really cool, man.
Rock and roll, man.
So I don't know. What is your prediction? Before you let me go, what's your prediction for the for the Mongols? Are they going to keep that patch or not? What do you think?
I think ultimately, in the end, they're going to keep it because it's going to go to the Supreme Court on either side. And as it goes up the appellate process, I think, you know, amicus briefs are going to be filed by other organizations like it did the first time with the ACLU and a lot of other civil rights organizations. And I think eventually it'll get to the Supreme Court, which, you know, hopefully they're a stickler for the Constitution there, but you never know with this court nowadays. But in the end, you know what, you can't tell me that a cop, you know, is personally, I think it'll cause an inner civil war between bikers and cops if they do try to take patches, because you know club members, man, with them patches.
Oh, yeah.
It won't matter if you're wearing a badge or what, man. It'll get pretty dirty real quick.
Oh, it can. Yes, it can.
So that's my prediction, man. You know, what are you thinking?
I think in the end, I think they're going to win in the Supreme Court because, sorry about that, because I think it's I think it's a First Amendment issue, and I think if you change that for the entire United States of America. Even a criminal organization has a First Amendment right to freedom of speech.
Exactly. But cool, man. Well, you know what? It was awesome having you on the show, man. Look forward to you kicking ass over on the radio stuff and, you know, getting it all together. You got your new studio together. It's going to be fun seeing you get up there.
Well, it's going to be cool, man, and it's just really good to have some allies in this game. I wish you all the best, and I hope you had a good Christmas and you hung out and had some time off. And so let's kick a little ass this year.
Rock and roll, man. I'll talk to you later, BD.
All right, take care, man.
And that was Black Dragon, and his, you know what, I really do love his YouTube channel. If you guys want to call in, I got a couple minutes if you want to put your 2 cents in on the Mongols and your predictions. Hey, what's up, Sinister? Your book will be out tomorrow. Mishap, how you doing, buddy? Base. Biohazard, out in Europe, buddy. I'll say, hey, great show. Todd, thank you, buddy. Danny, how you doing, Danny? I want to say hi to everybody in Oz, because I got a lot of you guys listening to Oz over on the other channels, and also Canada. You know, we got even Russia, man. Oh my God, my VK blows up with this thing, man. You know, I'm sorry I don't talk Ruski, but I appreciate you guys listening. Here we go. We got a call coming in, and you're on the air.
Hey, how's it going, boss?
What's up, buddy?
Not too much. I just wanted to weigh in on this whole Mongol thing. I'm an independent, so I'm an outsider looking into this whole shit. But question that comes to my mind is, haven't they pulled this shit before and failed?
Yeah.
And on top of that, the second question I have, and I know it's not a palatable solution. What's to stop them or any club they come after from just coming up with another patch? It seems like they treat these club members like they're fucking stupid.
Right.
And that's a bad way to go about things.
Exactly, man. What was the first question again? I'll get to that one real quick.
The first question, I'm sorry, I've been drinking. I almost forgot what the hell it was.
I've been smoking, so we're even.
Yeah, you know what? I already fucking forgot it.
Oh man, we all
I'm just pissed off about the whole thing, and Oh, yeah. Didn't they try this shit before and fail? And I think it was with the Mongols. They tried to take their patch. They were successful for a little while, and then they got their dick smacked in the dirt for doing it.
No, actually what happened is they did beat the case at first. With this judge they had, he actually ruled it as a First Amendment issue, and then the government kicked it up to the Ninth Circus Court. I don't call it a circuit.
Oh, those assholes.
They're a circus. But what they said was that they couldn't use the First Amendment issue because it was too soon, and that it had to go to retrial. That's why the prosecutors and all that stuff went back to try to get the freaking the RICO conviction. And yeah, that's where we're at now, because there's actually 3 things that they got to do to be able to win, which is the first one, get the RICO conviction. The second one is that patch had anything to do with the criminal organization, as they're calling it. That's the second one. And the third one is, if it does come back where the jury says, yeah, you know, they're guilty of that too, then the judge has to go and say, okay, is this a First Amendment issue? Which he already ruled on the first time.
That's what blew my mind when news broke about this. I thought this shit should have been settled. This is actually this is what makes everything so damn frightening about this. Is they can, you know, if they, you know, with this going forward, they're saying, okay, they can just keep coming after you until they get the result they fucking want.
And that's the scariest damn thing. Now, I don't care if you're a Mongol or you're even a member of the Elks, okay? Now, if somebody in your organization, if it's a big organization, and one of the reasons why I was so advocating for that thing in Pennsylvania, it's not because I like the club that was involved. I don't. Okay, it was because what that attorney was saying, and he even put it in his brief, was that the club is responsible for the actions of the individual, which if you're...
That's ridiculous.
You can't expect that from a national organization. So you're saying if I'm on the West Coast, I'm responsible for some dumb shit on the East Coast for doing something stupid. That's what they're trying to do here.
Oh, I get it. I work in healthcare. So some nurse or some doctor, we get some nutcase in there. They decided to go off on be an angel of death or some shit and start fucking offing patients. What, me working in the cafeteria or some shit? Am I going to be held culpable? I wear the same fucking badge.
Right.
It's the same fucking precedent.
Right. And you know what? There is some kind of precedent in here. You know, down in the southern states, they used to have, you know, for the drug stuff and shit like that, they were actually busting the employees that worked there for pushing drugs. You know, this government is way out of control. And the problem with this country is we're turning too much of a blind eye to what's going on in our politics right now. We don't hold them accountable for what they do. We just sit back and, okay, we vote this way or we vote that way. Let's take Chi-Town, for example. And Sinister will tell you this. We have the worst taxes in Chi-Town. I think it's like $12-13 for a pack of cigarettes. Or they want to do soda taxes or some shit like that. They will tax the hell out of you, but these people will go back and vote for them. And we wonder why our country is so messed up. Illinois right now, you know, I think it's the 4th year in a row that people are leaving this state in droves because of the people in charge here, but they keep voting them back in. We don't think as Americans, we think as either DRR.
Yeah, it's fucking nuts, dude.
So, you know, what I think is going to happen, I think it's eventually going to make it to the Supreme Court. And hopefully, you know, if the Mongols lose the case, the Supreme Court takes it up, because the Supreme Court only takes so many cases a year. And, you know, they can kick it back and say, hey, the lower court's shit stands. And next thing we know, we got a shit pile going on.
Yeah, and then after that, if this goes through, there's not a fucking club out there that's going to be safe.
No.
It could be a fucking mom and pop that's never even seen another club with a diamond on. They'll come after them too.
Well, it's not only clubs; it's going to be riding clubs too, or it'd be social clubs like Hog members.
Some guy fucking gets caught riding DUI, that whole fucking riding club or whatever's tanked.
Exactly, and that's where the ignorance of some of these people really blow my mind when they go out there and preach, well, that's their problem, it ain't our problem. You know what? In the early 90s, I seen a little bit of it, but in the late 70s and early 80s, it wasn't cool to be a biker, man. And that's one of the reasons why clubhouses came about, was because cops were too busy pulling over the old timers, throwing them on the freaking ground, and when they were going to a bar, so they said screw it and started their own stuff up. This generation don't understand it, but they're gonna understand it, and you can see a lot of it happen in Texas right now.
Fuck, dude, Texas is... Man, I'm planning on moving back south, and I'm going to avoid Texas like the fucking plague. No way in hell. And then the second question, and this is what really, and I hate laughing about it, but I got a fucked up head, and the image just popped in. I'm like, what if they do successfully start taking patches? They really, especially the older clubs out there, it's almost like they expect all these guys to look at each other, shrug, and go their separate ways, and that shit isn't going to happen.
No.
It's hilarious.
No. But, you know what? As much as I disagree with the Leos, they're going to put their asses in danger, and I'm not trying to be a dick, but that's just the case. A man earns that patch. You think they're just going to hand it over to the freaking Leo because you got a badge? That ain't going to happen.
No, you think these guys, and they're not, it's insane, and it's going to be, if it succeeds, it's going to be bad fucking news, because these guys, they overreact to every fucking thing. They're going to go to these clubhouses. It's going to look like a fucking army besieging these damn things. It's going to be shown on the news, and I hope it doesn't come to that. I'm hoping that common sense somehow fucking prevails, and they start leaving these guys the fuck alone for, however long, because they never stop.
Right. Well, you know what? What's funny, man, before I let you go, is, okay, we think this is going to stop the criminal activity if we take their patches and stuff like that. My answer to them idiots is, the same in Oz, because a lot of the listeners in Oz know what I'm talking about. The patches, at least you know who the people are. You take the patches away, you don't know who the hell they are. So what are you doing? That's just ignorance.
No, what's going to happen is, if this succeeds, these guys, the history of it will be gone, but they'll still have them somewhere hidden. They're not just going to give them everything. And some talented guy in these clubs is going to come up with something else, and guess what? You know what? That's not you already took our patch, This is something new. You have no reason to fucking take this, and you can't.
Well, you know what? The other issue that me and BD didn't talk about was the Mongols are worldwide. They own that trademark. Now, there's nothing, and this might be something they might want to do, is trademark that shit in another country. You know what I mean?
That's fucking brilliant, dude. I bet you someone's people are thinking about that.
That's what I would suggest to them. You know what? Go patent that patch right now in Europe or somewhere else. Put it in another country, some Eastern Bloc country, and there's not a damn thing the United States can do about that then.
No. And I'm hoping, I'm just hoping this shit ends soon, and I'm hoping somehow, some way, people start coming to their fucking senses, or at the very least waking the hell up and seeing what's going on.
Well, I hope so too, but you know the old story where people don't care unless it affects them. So that's what we're facing.
Yeah.
But I appreciate you calling in, bud. It was awesome talking to you. Love hearing your conversations. We had one yesterday, man. It was a good one. You're real intelligent.
Oh man, I'm still reading your IO book. I already had Biking and Brotherhood, but I didn't even know about this one. I got it up right now reading it.
Rock and roll, man. Hopefully you're enjoying it, and really appreciate you calling in, my man.
All right, man. Have a good one. Fuck Lollipop.
Fuck Lollipop. All right, buddy. And if you guys want to call in, I'll take one more phone call with you guys. What do we got going on in the chat room? Cowboy up, big guns, win wars, rock and roll. Dodge brother, if it wasn't for all outlaws. there wouldn't be a lot of feds and all the rest of the shit who go after them out of work. Rock and roll. But anyway, really appreciate it. If you guys haven't subscribed to the YouTube channel, hit that sucker up. And on Facebook as well, hit a like button. Share the videos. That would get the word out. That helps us out. The super chats, or if you want to make a donation, that is in the... the description box. But if nobody's calling in, I really appreciate it. Hope you enjoyed the show today. Tomorrow we'll have another good one going on, and we'll get on a different subject. But leave your comments below what you think is going to happen with the Mongols patch. But with that, I'll talk to you guys later.
Bye.